Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. There are nights when the past refuses to stay buried, when the ashes of old sins still glow faintly in the dark, waiting to be disturbed, waiting to breathe again. In the Twin Cities, those embers are stirring. What once burned bright has cooled to memory, but memory has a way of catching fire. Old alliances, forgotten debts, and ghosts of the dam all smolder beneath the surface. And those who seek to uncover them may find that some flames never truly die. Hello and welcome to Vampire the Masquerade, Twin Cities by Night Embers, the fourth story in the ongoing chronicle of Twin Cities by Night, a tale of what remains when the fire fades and what's left behind to burn. I'm going to make a proposition to you players. There's no right or wrong answer, right? Just going to ask. So at this stage in my mind, I was picturing one or two things can happen, right? One, we continue on with the narrative that we're kind of going here, right? The immediate reaction. Or we can do like a time jump for like a week where at this stage, it'd really have to be discussed. And we could discuss it amongst you all if you all decide to go that way. But you all, for lack of a better term, are excommunicated from the Camarilla, right? So that means you all are pretty much in hiding now. So one or two things, like I said, we can continue to play on and let the cards fall where they fall, or as a group, you guys can decide in the span of a week what's been done. If you guys are hiding together or as individuals or whatever it may be, I'll let you guys decide at this stage.
I think we can decide as a group. I'm not sure what the others think.
Yeah.
We're kind of in it together, so
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're staying as a group, but then do we want so the next question is, do we want to like a week time jump, or do we want to just pick up where we left off? Because I can see the arguments for both, because on the one hand I can see, most likely our immediate things will just be, laying Cindy to rest, getting finding some place to bunker down and maybe getting some blood for ourselves. So we like it's nothing's too important. It's just like logistics stuff.
For sure. And William needs a special blood supply, and he might think that his herd is being watched. So he'd probably have to go hunting, which is a bit complicated for Ventru.
That, or yeah, or risk the herd. I mean, so yeah, I guess decide if you. I mean, we can keep playing through, or we can jump a week. It's your guys' call. It doesn't matter to me. I wanted to present the option.
we probably have to figure out how we're going to dispose of the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's probably some blood in the body beyond what Warren took, so William could drink that because kindred blood gets around the ventru flaw.
Okay. I can say William would get maybe like
Two.
two. Yeah, I was saying about two pool points from that.
All right.
Yeah, and she's dead, so no blood bond.
Yeah.
Well, thin bloods can't blood bond anyway.
We identified that William would take the last two blood points. What does that bring you up to, William?
6.
Six. Okay. Now disposing of the body.
Uh, that's a good question. So Carlos is in the wind, and
Yep.
we don't
Carlos is in the
know.
wind. Valentine is in the wind. You haven't heard from that Lenny guy that was giving you information. Donald, the last you saw of Donald was Carlos jumping towards him before everything got dark and the whole all that insanity that happened, right? Yeah.
So yeah, I think after a bit, they like Kaitao would probably be like the most invested in this because the other two they're like, well, I don't really care. So I think Kaitao would want to, maybe drive out to like out of the city a bit, just like find somewhere secluded, just to have like a quick cheap burial.
Which I 100% dig that he's doing that, right? But
Yeah,
it seems
yes,
like there's some kind of symbolism there, right? Or like there's some kind of, it feels like Kaitao is intentionally doing this, going extremely out of his way for this one person to give homage or to,
I
I
guess
mean,
I think it's like he can't do this for anybody else who's been dead in like the last like several months or years. So he's just this is just for all the people he's seen die lately, and it's like I can't like bury anyone else. We're vampires. We don't really have stuff to bury, but she has something to something to memorialize. She has this physical presence to her that no one else really leaves behind.
Jesus, man, that is fucking deep.
And I definitely think that I definitely think that at some point Kaito sort of realizes, oh yeah, this is how all of us are going to end. We don't get to die of old age. Our when we die, not if, but when. Maybe not, maybe hundreds of years from now, maybe a week from now, but when it's going to be because something killed us. Something went out of its way to deliberately kill us.
Or you went out of your way to deliberately kill
Exactly.
yourself.
Like we don't get to die peacefully.
Damn, dude, I've never thought of it like that, but I mean, that's really intense. And then you think about the fact that you went from a life of seclusion for 20 years with very minimal interaction with any other kindred. And then in a year that you came back, you have, confirmed that one vampire that died, was murdered. Another has disappeared like they didn't exist. Jonathan's ghoul probably got murdered.
His sire died.
Your sire died. Your
His killer died.
his killer died. One of William's herds died. The person whose life you took died. People are dropping like fucking flies around you now. Not meaning it's your fault, but I'm saying like it's an extreme polar opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. 20 years of just quiet solitude and then just blood, murder, chaos.
So, and I hate to say this because it sounds really cliche, but I mean, how is all this realization when you're burying
I
Cindy in the middle
think
of this prairie making you feel like?
I think for Kaitao, he's been running on a low. I think, especially for like the last few months, he's been running on a slowly building, like just like bubbling lake of anger. And now when he's burying her, laying her to rest, like there's like a sharp like needle of sadness breaks through it all, and he's just yeah, there's just a bleakness to this that it's like sort of breaks through his anger, and just starts thinking about just again, he doesn't get he this is he doesn't get to, he's never going to get to die peacefully.
God damn it, dude. That's fucking, I've never have thought about that about this game or vampires like that. So, does he cry when he's burying her? That he's alone?
Yeah, I
Does that
think
break
after
through him?
he's finished and he just breaks down a little bit and just starts crying and that he's crying partly for himself, partly for all the dead people, partly for just and I can't stop this. I have to keep going. Either I fully turn into a monster or he has to find a way to not be a monster and maybe somehow come out of this with, still caring about people if that's even an option. And he doesn't
Chronicle,
know how. He's not sure what he wants out of this. Does he want to just not feel and just embrace the monster like the other two are? Or does he want to still be a person?
at
Ooh,
least to my final question.
right?
Is there a target now for this anger?
There's definitely several. But I think right I think Roman is like one of the bigger ones in his mind. Maybe he sees like all the people who are against him. He knows that the prince doesn't care about them. The prince just wants that would love it if they just died and he could just go back to doing whatever he was doing before. He knows the Giovanni and Dunstern and all the rest are doing something, and if we die, then they can just go back to scheming. And then now there's these Sabat who he vaguely knows them. They kill up. They want to kill others in the city and do all that, but at this point he's just
But they didn't kill you,
yeah.
right? That's weird. That's odd too, right? Like they could have probably, I mean, who knows, right? I wouldn't say that you guys wouldn't have gone down and fight, but there was no violence committed to you or any of the two. I mean, well, you can't speak on Valentine, right? Or,
So yeah, he knows they killed Ty.
yeah,
He,
that's
he
true.
knows maybe they took Valentine and Carlos and the human. Like there is like he doesn't. He is very much like there's all these different factions, and right
Mm.
now he's on no one's side. And currently, like all of them are basically like we don't really care if you live or die. You just we will have stuff going on, but but that's more important than you in our brains. And for Kaitao, it's like, huh, that's just like normal for them. And then that brings it back to anger, where it's like, but I'm just tired of just I've been kept my head down, I've been unintrusive for decades, and now that I finally stick my head up slightly, all of a sudden everyone just says, no, stop, be dead now.
So, two things before I move on. One, there's another faction you forgot about, the weirdness from the Echo Projects and the whole Little and Samantha, but you did
Yeah.
make confrontation, but immediately after that, that's when you know what I mean? You found out you're excommunicated. So who knows what that led to. Second of all, you guys are kind of your own faction now too, if you think about it, right?
And I think that's slowly like sinking into Kaitao's brain, and that okay, so that means there's like there's all these different groups jockeying for trying to shake up the city, and he's just like, huh,
City seems a lot more crowded than it did fucking a year ago, right?
exactly. And it's going to be a lot, and no matter what, no matter who comes out on top, it's going to be a lot emptier before the by the end of it.
Oh, Katal just got gangster. All right, so we figured out what you all did with the body. Where you guys, where you guys staying at? Like, what did you guys decide? Like, where you guys gonna make your lair, for lack of a better term, for the time being? Like, I mean, last layers that you all had was Katal's was a shed on the side of a rest where he almost met the sunlight. William had woke up in a crazy weird apartment in Ellsworth Towers with a body waiting for him, right? And Warren had a sex in the middle of the ashes of his sire, right? Where you guys hiding it?
Very good question.
I mean, it comes down to the fact, like, I mean, what's the goal of hiding, right? Right now, is the goal of hiding just temporarily until you seize power? Is the goal of hiding long term, right? Like, there's different options I could see here, right? I could see, so there's nothing stopping you all from having a fucking house, right? That you fucking dominate the owner of, you know what I mean? To use,
That's what I
or
was thinking of right
yeah,
now. Yeah, of just maybe can't remember the name of William's ex-ghoul. Oh, the ghoul he killed.
David.
Yeah. I
Ooh,
was thinking
David's
of just
family.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just
because
going there,
that's a
dominating her, the ex-wife, or
yeah.
rather the widow, actually, not the
Yeah.
ex-wife. But yeah.
That's a good idea. So that's an option.
And I'd say Kaitao, if William suggests that, he would be like, no, 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 don't drag any families into this. If you find a guy, just a single guy in a apartment somewhere, that's fine, but just no families. That's
Apartment will
that's
be
too far.
cramped.
I think a motel outside of the city would be a wise idea.
Too dangerous. Can't trust people not to open the windows or something, or just generally bother us.
Yes, that is, and there's also they're very vulnerable too. If someone just has to kick open the door during the daytime, boom, we're all dead.
There's one other place I can think of. I mean, and I'm not saying that I want you all to do this, but Warren has a house, you know.
Or
Go
I
ahead.
could just dominate the widow to move out with the kids, go to the motel, and we can have the house for ourselves. No one will bother us.
That's actually a good idea.
That's a better idea. I like that idea.
Yeah. Maybe say that there's like renovations that you want to do for a house. You can even, leave with the domination stating like, oh, we had a good year because of the work that David did. And, I wanted to reward you all,
Yeah.
after the fact, because this wouldn't be possible with the business intuition of David, cocaine and gambling. But, yeah, we could do that. And so we could say that you guys could have, lack of a better term, a normal kind of, we can even say it's like a gated community, right? Like a upper middle class gated community home where you definitely have your privacy because that's what people pay for, right? When they have homes like that, you have good space between the homes, big yards. You know that people aren't going to be able to drive through and drive in and out of there without having the proper pass in place. And it does give you a sense of I guess comfort, right? Of protection. That is must, a semblance of structure, right?
Yes, and I'll say that I'm thinking William will immediately demand the master bedroom for himself, and then me and Warren get the kids' rooms, which Kaito immediately no, this is he takes all the stuff down, like boxes it up somewhere. Like he cannot deal with that. That's
And you
too
all,
much
or you all
actual.
sleep in the basement. Probably the basement would be the best bet because of no light. You know what I mean?
True,
Coming
Yeah.
in.
true, true.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
I
that's
don't need
fair.
to redecorate or
Yeah.
repair.
Just
Yeah.
sleep in the cellar and
Yeah.
honestly probably just have yeah, just probably stay in the cellar and try to keep low key. Maybe the neighbors are thinking she, like I said, whatever work's being done or she's on vacation or something to that extent. So
I guess
um
I forgot their basements. I'm in live in Arizona. We don't have basements here.
I know they don't have them here in Texas and I just remember like, oh shit, fucking they have basements in the north, you know, like that can work. All right, so I'm glad we have figured that out. A couple things to factor in. I hate to bring this up again, but William, 2 blood points ain't a lot. And you got to blow one
No,
every day when you
no.
wake up.
Yep.
We need to talk about this. So I guess I'm going to ask you, because it's your character, how's William going to handle this? Because it's easy to say, I'm going to be careful when you have total control of the situation, right? Then when that thirst starts coming up, right? Now, you've said before how Venture protect their acquired taste, right? They don't let anyone know that. But you're also in a very paranoid state of mind. So I guess I'm going to ask you, what is going on in William's head as these days tick off? You know, and we'll say you can tell me whatever day into it, you know, where you make a decision, but like what's the
I
chain of
think
events?
around 4 and 3 is when a vampire really starts starving.
Yeah.
I think it's also in the core rule book where you have like different roles and penalties, whatever. And I think around that point, that's when William will decide if there's no one suitable, maybe like in the vicinity. Although that's also not a great idea to hunt in the vicinity of your haven. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, for
Even though
sure.
he'd probably actually find someone suitable because possible staff, upper middle class,
Yeah.
that sort of thing correlates, but it's not a great situation to be in. So what I think his solution would to tell someone from his herd to meet him at a third place, not necessarily the house or the gated community, maybe some sort of motel or something. He'd get his blood, and then he'd very paranoidly trying to make sure he's not being followed, make his way back.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I
These are
assume
my
he'd be
notes.
very stressed during all of this,
Yes.
and also pretty annoyed, is hungry, it's
Yeah.
dangerous, but
It's
it
gotta
has to be
happen.
done.
It
Yeah.
has to happen. So, for a couple days, William, you've been staring at your flip phone and going through your contacts, and you are doing like thumb down or the arrow down, arrow up, arrow down, and you kind of been going over like, yeah, I've heard it too. I forgot how many that is, but let's say you've been going over like 4 different names. You're going up, going down, going up, going down. You're thinking about which one you're going to choose, and you fall in the name of Tanya. Your interactions with Tanya are kind of different than most of the interactions in your herd. And the reason why is because she's a single mother. Tanya is in her late 20s. She had 2 children in her early 20s with a alcoholic asshole man who ended up leaving her and the 2 kids. And she pulled herself up from the bootstraps and decided to go to nursing school. And when you were initially stalking like hospital facilities like you do when you were looking for your herd. You know, occasionally sitting in waiting room areas, just staring at them as they work, waiting for the right opportunity you set up to have coffee with them, maybe, or to interact with them. Your run-ins were always at her home. Usually were initiated by her saying, "Hey, my kids are asleep," or "Hey, I got a sitter. Do you want to come by?" And they were usually, in a way, it was different because she was like rest of your herd in the fact that she was extremely attracted to you due to the feeling that you gave her when you feed off of her. She wasn't aware of what you were feeding off of, right? Because you would disguise it smartly. But when you'd come over, she'd always be like in pajama pants. You know what I mean? And very casual gear because to her, you were comfort. You were this figure who could step in and not only make her feel physical pleasure, but she felt companionship in a way where I'm sure with you, I don't know how your reaction would be to that. You could share that, right? But where most of your nurses that you dealt with, they didn't have children, you know, or they were, you know, they still had that fire, right? To be single and open like that. But this one's different. She's more careful. She's more considerate. One thing that she was always insistent on is that her children didn't know that you'd come by. right? She didn't want them to be confused. So when you would hover over those names, that's kind of the one you're thinking might be a little bit more careful, right? Might be a little bit different. So how do you choose to reach out to her?
He'd send a text, I think.
Okay, what would he say in the text?
He'd probably choose a motel, and I think William is just used to getting what he wants. So he'd just say, "Meet me here at this time. I
What
have
kind of,
something special for you."
okay, what kind of motel? Are we talking cheap one? Are we talking about a like a nice hotel, or what are we thinking here?
Hmm. That's a good question, but I don't think he wants to risk a nice hotel.
Draws more attention, you thinking?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, in
And
cheaper
there's paperwork involved. Might have to show ID or something.
cheaper motels are more discreet, right?
Yeah.
When you initially say that, you see she replies with two question marks, and she's like, then you see another text message. What should I wear?
Whatever you're mo most comfortable with. I'll be in my usual.
She says, okay, I will see you. How far in advance are you giving her notice?
Probably one night because he knows she has kids, so she'll
Yeah.
have to probably find a babysitter or
She's like, do you want me to get the room?
no, I'll get it. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So we fast forward to the next night. You have decided to choose this. I mean, honestly, I'm going to present this option to you, right? You're aware of a couple cheap hotels. The Knights Inn and the Junction Inn. That was happening where when you guys were searching initially way back in Negligence. I don't know if that's too close to home or if you're looking for another cheap hotel. I'll leave it to your discretion. I know William's not a connoisseur of cheap hotels.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Probably ask Kaitao.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, doesn't Kaitao, I believe,
Oh boy.
didn't you have a contact who was head of the union of cleaners who cleans the
Yes, something like
motels?
that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Uh,
would it be too much of a stretch to be like, hey, dude, I got to feed. I need somewhere discreet. You know what
hmm.
I mean? Like, I don't know. It's your call. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, no, he definitely asked Kaitao if
Yeah.
Kaitao wouldn't think too much about this. Like he knows, okay, he has to feed,
Mhm.
and if we could probably find somewhere, just okay, yeah, this hotel place, discreet, good place.
make sure it's not too dirty as well.
Okay, don't worry, it'll take me a bit, but I bet I can get you something.
And Catel's able to find you a Motel 6 it's inexpensive. It probably has prostitutes who reside within the rooms, but it's discreet, right? And it's not dirty from the outside. So what's your strategy when going up to like handling the situation? You said you're paranoid,
Yeah,
like,
definitely paranoid, but I'll try to keep it cool. Just pay for a room, wait for Tanya there.
okay. So you're gonna drive there?
Yeah.
So you go to this Motel 6, you go to the front desk.
Maybe one more thing that I want to say that
Yeah.
William just sees this as a chore, right?
Okay.
So for her, it's like a romantic rendezvous or something.
Yeah.
Oh, for William, it's like going to the grocery store. He's not in love. He's just hungry, and he has problems or started having problems, with emotional connections to people, right? And there was the whole Ellsworth thing where there was this potential to sort of rekindle that, but that's currently sort of on hold.
Hmm.
But William is also sort of starting to notice that his coldness is going to be a problem. But again, he just sees it through this sort of lens of extremely pragmatic lens of, I'm gonna have problems getting new members to the herd if I'm like this.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like the sheep can tell the difference when there's a sheepdog and a wolf in their midst.
Yeah.
And you're definitely not the sheepdog anymore, right? So your means of finding a herd, I mean, I hate to say this, man, it's going to start maybe becoming pretty inhumane here soon, right? There's not going to be so much of empathy and charming and manipulation, more so force, brute will of dominance, right? And presence. And
Yeah. No, just presence, dominate, forgetful mind.
which, I mean, how are these thoughts that are going on in William's head while he's sitting there and hiding, like looking at this? Like, I mean, it does is there one last remnant of any kind of like empathy in there to where he feels like that's gonna be, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't want to like use like hyperbole here, but that's like the that's completely going against someone's will, you know what I mean? And taking it by force.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is exactly what he's kind of contemplating, and he knows that it's not an issue that will come up soon. It'll come up soonish, like maybe 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
But so he's just thinking it's something I'll have to deal with if I survive the current crisis.
I mean, again, to go back to like what I was saying to Katal, like a lot has changed in a fucking year, right? 20 years of
Yeah.
easy living, for lack of a better term, and then now this, right? Craziness. So find this Motel 6 that's off Highway I-35 West. It's off an exit in Western Minneapolis. It's not in a bad neighborhood, but it's not like in a middle class neighborhood where most
Hmm.
hotels you would find and motels for like normal families, it'd be like a whole bunch of franchised restaurants and strip malls and businesses like that. But here it's more convenience stores that aren't franchised, more liquor stores, more pawn shops, but it's not like the north side around the Echo projects, right? You go and you get your room key in this office that is just the fluorescent light is way too bright than it needs to be in here. It's almost like it's disheartening. It gives everything this weird white milky radiance. And there's this guy sitting behind the desk with this computer screen that you can't see what's on there, but he's giving you a look of annoyance. Like you're breaking him from doing something online that he wanted to do. He looks to be a normal man. I mean, he doesn't look to be any kind of greaseball or any kind of degenerate, but he definitely looks like you're bothering him at this stage. But he does the transaction. He accepts cash and he doesn't ask for ID or anything to that extent. He asks you like how many hours do you want the room, which usually like someone dressed like you showing up to a hotel like this, you're probably coming here because you're John, right? And you got a woman who's meeting here, right? So he knows not to ask questions. Transaction seamless. You go on your way, and you have a room 2C that's on the second floor. It's the hotel, the Motel 6. The doors face outside, right? So the front, like the bottom row, you go out the office and you go down the sidewalk, and the doors are there. But you have to go up these metal steps to like another balcony hallway where there's doors out there, and you go into 2C. And this room is pretty much what you would expect. The front sign of the Motel 6 said free cable, right? And you see like there's a queen size bed there. There's a TV that's sitting on this dresser that has a mirror behind it. There's a bathroom that you can see there. A lingering smell of like cigarette smoke. Maybe that smoking happened in here that wasn't supposed to. Walls paint is a little yellowish and kind of peeling in the corners. You see kind of a water stain further down the ceiling by the bathroom, like the room above there might be leaking water between the floors, so it's kind of grown out. And you're sitting there for about 30 minutes in silence, and you hear a knock on the door.
Come in.
And you see the door open, and you're kind of taken aback for a second because you see you see Tanya. She's wearing like this auburn colored like dress that someone might wear to go out to dinner. It's strapless and it has like her shoulders are bare, but it has like sleeves that go down almost to the middle of her forearm. And the thing that is different, or the thing that catches you off guard, is the fact that you've never seen her dressed like this. You've only seen her in her nurse's uniform or comfortable of her home. And when she steps in the room, you could tell she's meek and she doesn't feel comfortable walking in that dress because of the heels that she's wearing. They're the same colors. Like she's not used to walking in heels. And you see that her face, the makeup on her face, you have never seen her put on this much makeup. And it's awkward. It's completely awkward. And you can tell she doesn't feel comfortable. And you see when she smiles, she even has a little bit of the red lipstick on her teeth. Like she's not used to putting on lipstick and she got some on her teeth and she's not aware of it, which even adds to the layer of awkwardness. Give me a perception and empathy roll, please. Difficulty 6.
Oh, we actually do have a point there. It didn't feel right just putting experience into empathy right
I
now.
feel you, yeah, man. It's your character, homie.
One success.
There's a moment when you look at her and she looks at you, and she looks. At first, you felt like, okay, she looks awkward. Like she looks like she's feeling awkward and she's not comfortable. But then you notice there's like a little perspiration, like over her brow a little bit, that's going down a little bit on her temple. And you can see like the foundation makeup that she has on is kind of mixing with it a little bit. And it's leaving this single streak that's like breaking the crevice of the facade that she's trying to put on with all that makeup. She looks worried and stressed about something.
Is everything all right?
Her eyes dart left and right. For a second, she looks back at you and she just kind of tries to force a smile. She nods her head. Yes.
You look beautiful.
You see her eyes like look down at the ground for a second and she just nods her head and she's still standing there.
Uh, William will beckon her to sort of approach.
She starts walking towards you and she kind of like stands in front of you while you're sitting in the chair. It's like she's not looking at you in the eyes.
On one hand, William is sort of like, what's wrong? But on the other hand, he's really fucking hungry at this point. And a hungry vampire is a sloppy vampire. One that makes mistakes, throws caution to the wind.
Mhm.
So I think
Do we need a
without further ado,
do we need a self-control roll, do you think maybe?
yeah, sure, why not?
All right, let's roll difficulty 4 here.
One
Oh, you made it.
success.
One success. You're able to control it, but you kind of grasp her wrists and pull her in, and she like flops down on your lap. And you make your way with your face towards her neck. And you're able to get, I'd say, like 2 blood pool points, right? Because you're kind of having a hard
Mhm.
time. But in the moment of ecstasy on her end, you feel her quivering on your lap, and you hear her whisper, I'm sorry. And the power goes out in the room. Hey, thanks for listening. Producing this podcast takes time, energy, and real cost, from hosting fees to editing and artwork. If you enjoy what we do and want to help us keep creating, consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a small pledge makes a big difference in covering expenses and letting us focus on bringing you more stories, more episodes, and better quality. You can find the link in the show notes. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Also, feel free to join our Discord, which is also listed in the show notes.